Hey, everybody. We are so glad you are here. This venture that we're doing is our a team cooperative. So what we're going to be doing is a summer series of Artisan Six classes. So we've tried to think of all kinds of different cutesy names and things that we could do to make people like want to come be engaged. And we decided to keep it simple. It's our summer series of Artisan Six tips and tricks. Now, what it's not a beginner course, okay? So if you have friends that you want to invite and they've never even downloaded it, that's a different course. That's our Getting Started beginner course. This is right after that. So as long as you know how to pull open your computer, start a project, put photos in, add a text box, you're golden, okay? You don't have to have a lot of experience, but you do have to know how to at least get into your program. Does that sound fair? Does that sound good? And then what we're doing is each week, a different team member is going to take a topic. So it's not supposed to be an all-inclusive. It's supposed to be one little piece of artisan that we have found intriguing, something that we've learned new, a basic that you don't know about, maybe a cutting tool or a hidden feature that you go, what? And we had that happen this weekend. That's what Leanne was just referring to before we started the recording. Our trainer, and we're doing some things, and somebody said, well, why don't you just, and this is wrong, why don't you just do a control VS? And she's like, why? And she goes, well, just try that. And she went control VS, and whatever she was trying to do just populated, and everybody was like, oh, who could do that? So that's the kind of thing that we're doing here is we're each just taking a week. It's going to be a very short segment. But if you have questions or things that you would like to have a topic taught on or a topic you would like us to teach on, please put it in the comments so that we can write those down. So if we don't already have it in the lineup, that we can make sure that we include it. And tonight's our first one. It's our inaugural. We may do more than one tip each week. And it may be a week. It will be a kind of like a free-for-all where we just go, okay, we've been doing this now for a few weeks. What can we answer? And we'll just work on our different projects. But we hope it'll be informative and we hope it'll be fun. And if you are working on a project currently and have an overbearing question that you're like, I just need help with this thing, we can certainly deviate and do that. And then the other thing is after we do our Artisan Six teachings, then if you have questions about forever, we'll be happy to answer those on the back end of the questions. Like if you're having trouble uploading or whatever the issue might be. All right. Any questions thus far? We're calling it a summer series, but it's kind of an open-ended end date. So we may have a September series. We may have a holiday edition. We don't know. We'll see what where we go with this afterwards. This is just something new that we're trying that we thought would be fun for the summer. Okay. So with that, I'm going to be assured that everybody sitting here can pull up their program, that you know how to start a project, and that you know how to put text on a page, and you know how to do pictures, and you know how to delete. Would that be an affirmative?
Yes.
Okay. Because if I just said that and it wigs you out, just hang on and listen, but don't be wigged. We'll chat later and say, wait a minute, I want to go back to that beginner class. So we can do that. Because we want to make it so that everybody enjoys it and you get the most out of your time. Now, you guys can tell me when you see my screen, that's a variance of for Zoom and Forever. They do not play well together, or Artisan and Zoom.
We're seeing it. We're seeing it.
All right. You should see my number 5 grandchild here. But what we're going to talk about tonight's topic is text as a shape. All right. So on the home ribbon, I'm going to take you here to the home ribbon. And you know that as you highlight each one of these different tabs up to at the top, if you can see my green cursor, let me get this panel out of the way. Each one of these tabs opens a whole different world of possibilities within Artisan Six. That's what makes it so fun, and that's what makes it so powerful. Now, when you do a text, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can make a text box, and you can just write it in there with whatever fonts you happen to have on your computer. That's not what we're doing tonight. You could also make a text path, and you can make circles and lines and waves and all kinds of fun things. That's not what we're going to talk about. You could also use an alpha set. Super fun, super variety in that. But again, that is not what we're going to talk about. What we're doing is this last one, when we make your text a shape. So to do that, and we're looking at this page, and this actually happens to be a alpha set that I had used on this page. Her name is Caroline with a K, but I'm just going to move that right off, and we're going to play with what does it look like when you do it a different way. Now, when you make a text shape, you're going to go to the insert ribbon and you're going to say shape. And when you say shape, then you're going to see, of course, your text shape box will pop up in the right-hand corner. Did everybody see that? Is it popped up? Okay, so there's different lines here. So your text, what you want to write is going to go right here. Then directly under that, well, I'll just do it each step as we go so you can see. So I'll just type in her name, Caroline. Now, directly under that, you can see on my page, it's there. It's filled with a blue. It's got a pretty heavy stroke around it. And then font is my next section down below. So when I go down here to font and I hover over the down arrow, any font you have installed on your computer will pop up, and any groups that you have. So I'm just going to scroll down here so that you can see all of these different fonts that I have, I can choose. And if you click on it, it will change. Watch her name on the screen. It'll change. And so you can kind of see a little bit of a sample before you do it. And you're like, no, that's not the fill I want. Well, let's see, that's a fancy one. Maybe I'll use that one. So you go through and you can just choose whichever you want. So I am going to say, on this one, I'm going to say beautiful butterfly. So I click it, there it is. Now the next section down is my fill and my stroke. So you get some choices here. For your fill, that means what do you want the middle color, where it's blue right now? Do you want it to stay a solid color? I can change that and choose solid color. And I can say, oh, look at all these options. Let me try, let's see, let's try a green. So I could go down here and I could do green and go, maybe not. Maybe I want this pink. That would work. And you can go through and you can choose until you get the absolute color that you like best. That pretty much matches that pink right there. So I'll go, okay, we'll work with that one for right now. So my text is there. My font is beautiful butterfly. I just picked a random fill there. And so for my stroke, this is the line that's going to be around the outside of the edge. I'm going to say none, or if I just say, well, just a simple line like it had, here's my width. It always defaults to 3, which in my personal and humble opinion is a pretty thick line. If you're writing a lot of stuff, it overpowers it. So I like to always pull that down. And if you'll look at the word, so take just a minute. If you're taking notes, if you'll take a minute and look at the screen. So that's what a 3 looks like. And here's what a 1 looks like. See the difference? And I could go bigger if I wanted to go more than 3 and say, no, I want to make it, well, my cursor's not working. Let's go with what would a 5 look like? And then that would be really dramatic. So it's always personal choice, and you can play with this. And so I'm going to pull it down here just because for demonstration, I'm going to say a 0.5, and then I'm going to say create. So when I create that, and I pull it over here to the side, which is what I was doing over here, let me move you guys again. And let me move this panel again, and let's move over here. And I'm going to show you some choices that we've done. So here's the Caroline we just did. And these are different fields and different things that you can do. All right. So that's just your regular line, one color fill, not a question. Any questions on that? Well, we're going to repeat it so you can see it again, and I'll go through the steps. Oh, I'm already on that page. It's like, duh, just move it over, ma'am. Okay, so what I do is I go up to my insert ribbon. Who can tell me what I do next?
The shape.
Go over here to insert shape. When you do that, the text shape box comes up. So I have to retype her name every time. That is a limitation of using it as a text shape, is if you forget the thickness of your width, whatever, for example. You always have to go back because these aren't editable. Once you make it and you say create, it is now a shape that can be flattened and it can be moved. You also don't see a font size on here. That's because once you make it a shape and you create it, you can make it taller, you can make it longer, you can make it skinny. So I'll show you that in just a second. So I'm going to stick with the same font. I'm going to come down here, and you know your recently used fonts are up top. So I'm going to say Beautiful Butterfly again. And this time, instead of fill solid color, I'm going to go with color gradient. Now, a color gradient is that faded color that I was just showing you. So we can pick two colors. So somebody pick a color you like.
Rose.
One? This one?
Sure.
Okay. Rose would be the first color. So we say, okay. So now we have to pick our second color. And how about if we go with like a cream yellow there? That looks like throw up. That's not a good choice. Somebody else pick a better color. That did not work. How about this light blue? Would that work? Nope.
Yeah.
Green? What goes with rose?
Well, you could try a darker rose.
That one? That's more of a pink, isn't it?
Yeah.
Covered it up.
Oh, try an
Yes.
orange. Do a pink and an orange.
Right. Standard colors like this orange.
Try it.
You know, whichever one. There's
We're
a
just gonna do
lag
it.
on.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a
there you
lag.
go.
Okay, so you can't see. Okay, so now we see that it's here. And one thing that you want to click if you're doing a gradient is your preview on page at the bottom. Do you see that right here?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you click it. So once you click it, then you can see what is it going to look like on your page. So again, I'm going to pull it over here and I'm going to pull this over here to a white space in another lifetime.
You have to be out of the gradient
Oh, I have
in
to be
order
out
to
of
do
it.
that.
Yep. Okay.
Right.
So you'll have to watch it right here because that is the limitation. So if I say preview on page, each one of these options is a little bit different. See how that's got all the orange on one side and the pink on the other. Now, if I click this one, the orange is going to be on top. The pink is going to be on the bottom. The one directly under it is pink on top, orange on bottom. I do like that one. And so you just click on them to see which one do you like. So we'll say majority rule when you see one you like. That's mostly pink, a little orange. Here's mostly orange, a little pink. So you just click until the
Remember,
one.
we have a lag.
Oh, okay,
We
sorry.
have a lag. So
All right. So you just keep clicking away, like I do, and you wait for the one that you really like, that strikes your fancy. What is
I'll
it?
let you pick that.
Yeah,
Kathy.
so I'll pick one of these here. So, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4. So you have 24 options here. Okay. Let's see what this radial will do down here. Oh, that's not bad. So that's got your pink on the outside and your orange on the inside. So we'll say, okay, we're going to go with that one. That's not one I usually use. So I'll say, okay. Has it populated? Can you guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
Not yet.
Yes.
Oh. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so I'm going to say okay.
Yeah.
But now remember, this line is a factor. I'm going to leave it at 3 just so that you can see. I'm going to put it up against the other one so you can see the difference. Because for some people, it does appeal and they want the bigger shape, the thicker line. So there it is. So now that I'm out of that editor, I can pull it over here. And let's get it over here. And this is with the one that I just did, the one above it, the pink one. So, and I want to do it this way because that's a different one. Okay. So the pink Caroline, the first one that is a solid color, that had a 0.5 stroke around it. So you see how it's just kind of there? The one we just created, I left the full 3 stroke on. So it's just a little thicker. And here's why that's important is when you do something like you say, oh, let me, because it's a shape, I can do this. I can add a little shadow for definition. I went to format and then I went to shadow light and then here's shadow heavy. See how when you have a thicker line, the shadow kind of makes the letters not be as crisp. Can you see that? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
makes all the connectors a little more obvious. So I like to do a lighter line. So there's my shadow light. and I'm working on the pink one below here now, and here is my shadow heavy. And personally, and it is personal preference, so this is not right. This is my personal preference, okay? I like the definition of the letters here. You may like this one. Doesn't matter, it's your page. You get to have the fun with it. Now, this is the same as this. It's a gradient fill, but I used the circular round. So that's why you see the green on the just the outside edges and the pink on the inside. All right, I'm going to show you one other thing with this and another way to fill, because we
Hey,
have all these. Yes,
Kathy,
yes, ma'am.
just before you go off of that, will you show them that you can change the thickness of the stroke on your shape now? Like if you don't like that 3-point on the Caroline on the top, show them that how they can change
You
it
can- Yes, because it's
here.
a shape, the way that you can change it now is if you click on it and you're going to come up here to your quick access toolbar. That's this little bar that has just some handy dandy shortcuts. This is your fill, but right here is your stroke. And see how it says 3 points?
Mhm.
You can change that right there to, let's go to a 1, and then there it is. I just think
So
that
you're
looks
not
crisp.
you're not set in stone when you choose that at the beginning. Like you are if you choose a font, like you're stuck with that font. You can't change the font. You have to go back and recreate again if you decide you don't like that font. But on that stroke, you can change that.
You have options. That is right. Okay.
Yep.
So while we're here in the workspace, and I'm just over here on the side, I'm going to insert yet once again a shape, and we're going to use the same name just for comparison purposes. And I'm going to use the same font, which is Beautiful Butterfly. Our fill. Now, this is the difference. You can make that transparent, and there's other things you can do with it. We're not going to go with that at this moment. That's a P2P weekend, but from an art kit. So if you are one of us that has decided that you're addicted to digital art and you absolutely love it, and this, you just have all the colors and all the papers, and the deal of the day cannot pass without you checking it in, then this is for you, because you can make your fill from any art kit that you happen to have. Now, this is one we used a lot this weekend. It's Roxanne Belcolt's Lucky Girl Creative. She was our designer, and it's from her Christmas Peacock bundle. So I'm going to say, oh, let's fill it with this purple right here. And if I say select that content, then I can choose, do I want it in the light section, the dark section, or do I want it kind of in the middle? Well, if I do it there in the middle, it gives me that gradient look because it's a gradient paper. And I can make that larger or smaller, however I choose to do it. But I'm just going to say, yeah, that'll do. I want that whole section. That'll be good. Let's fill it that way. And when I say okay, and I'm going to move my 3-point to maybe a 1-point again, and I come back over here because I realize my word's over here, then there is my paper. So I'm going to slide it over so you can see. And that's the difference of what a fill with just colors, a gradient fill, and a fill from a different paper. Now, this one was from the Cowboy and Denims outfit, so you can see the little pieces of lace here. Again, if you're doing a beach page, you could do seashells. You could do whatever options that you want, you can do. So any questions, or do I have anybody confused at this point? Speak now, speak loudly, be proud.
I do have a question.
Yes, good.
So
Yay.
I've worked, and I know probably several of you have, like in Cricut Design Space and stuff like that. So the thing when I look at this font that drives me crazy is these lines that are overlapping. Is there options like we called it weld in Cricut Design Space where you could connect them where it looks like one solid flow of a word versus the individual letters?
Well, let's take this one that we have a 1 on, or 0.5, and let's run it all the way down and just say no stroke and see if that works better.
That did it.
We call it no stroke. The stroke gives you definition, and then because it's a shape, you can get further definition by your applying a shadow, and that can be light, dark, or custom. But that's a different class. Other questions? All right, in our next little bit, one thing I do want to show you is one limitations. Sure, we'll say those say changes design. One other limitation of using the text as a shape, it's not a limitation. This is one thing too. If you're going to use it and your title is long, you may want to consider breaking your title up into words, because when this Swimming with the Turtles, I just used a gradient fill here, just used a regular American Captain was my thing. I think when I started out, the title was so long you can't even see it on the page. So what to do? Well, you can get frustrated and cuss, or you can just grab one of these handy dandy little arrow key or the little boxes. And I like to go to the edge, so I'm keeping my proportions, and you can just squeeze it in here until you get it to fit and make it look where you want. And you go, okay, yeah, no, that is not going to work for me. That's got to be Swimming with the Turtles. Or this may be a case where I would say, don't know that I want to do a text shape for this, because it's not, I don't know, this just wasn't what I wanted. But anytime that you have a large amount of text, then you can make it skinny, you can make it tall, you can make it fit your space, because you've now made this a text shape, and that's why there's no font numbers. So you don't have a size. You can just make it as you will.